going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Obsessed Auto Reviews. My name is Gary and this is the place to be if you love vehicles. Today we are looking at the 2020 Honda Civic Touring. Big thank you to Honda West of Calgary, Alberta for letting us borrow this vehicle. They are great in terms of giving us any vehicle that we want, really. I was trying to get an EX mid-trim level, but they only had a Touring or LX, so I figured I'll show you guys the big dog of the Honda Civic lineup. Link is in the description below if you want to look at this Civic specifically or anything else on their lot. Now, talking about the Civic, been around since the 70s, classic car. Unfortunately, it's known as a ricer in a lot of areas because everybody loves to pimp out their Civics. But it's been around for a long time, man. This one in its 10th generation. That's right, 10th generation since 2016. This is going to come out as a 2021 model, but then for 2022, so next year in the summertime, we are going to see a all-new 11th gen, all-new platform, and everything's going to be redone outside in. I'm excited for that. Now let's dig into the Civic and check out what we got. Enjoy the review. All right, so you see that guy right here? That's Benji, Ben, the cameraman. Say what's up. There we go. All right, so let's talk about this. Let's talk about the engine. One of the things I like the most about the Civics. Actually, we're looking at a Civic Touring. This is what I like about the Civic Touring the most. Now, the Touring has a 1.5 liter turbocharged engine, makes 174 horsepower and 162 pound-feet of torque. Now, this is not the base engine. The base engine would be the 2 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder. It makes 158 horsepower and 138 pound-feet of torque. Super low numbers. They're all mated to a CVT transmission. The CVT is not really something I really enjoy, but it's getting better and better as they keep on working on things. If you want to get a manual transmission, you can get that with the LX trim, which is a 2 liter naturally aspirated engine. Or if you want the turbo engine with a manual, you have to get an SI because the Touring does not let you get the Touring does not let you get a manual transmission. Now you're probably wondering, how is that turbocharged engine with the CVT? Well, I'm going to show you. All right, guys, so we're going to stop right now and do an acceleration test. No one's behind us. This is the turbocharged engine. You guys ready? Let me take traction control off here. Put it in sport mode. Make sure it's not on econ mode. 3, 2, 1. Send it. Oh, we're actually going. Wow. So as you guys saw, it's okay. It is nice to have more power, but it's not something that will get you excited. Even though it's a pretty fun car to drive, the turbo lag is real on this thing. Now, in case you're wondering, in terms of fuel economy is fairly good. It's a Civic. It's been one of the best-selling passenger cars forever. The fuel economy in terms of the naturally aspirated compared to the turbo engine, obviously the NA, actually surprisingly, the NA is like 0.1 liters per 100 kilometers worse than the turbo, but they're both really good numbers. In case you're wondering, it's 7.9 in the city and 6.1 on the highway, and those are really solid numbers in terms of just overall performance. That's what Civics are known for: good, reliable cars, good on gas, everything like that, right? So let's talk about the front end. Another thing I really like about the Civic is the looks overall. Starting off the front end, you have a pretty attractive front end. After they did the update, they took away that chrome grille and they put in the blacked out version, which was on the SIs initially. I think it looks much better. The headlights got darkened out. Everything looked much more sporty looking. They even added a sport trim level. Now, talking about these headlights, the Tourings that we're in, they have full LED headlights, LED daytime running light, turn signals, low beam, high beam, fog lights, everything. If you get anything below a Touring, you do have a LED/halogen combination with projector beams. I think obviously the LEDs look much better. Now, if you get a sport trim, you get halogen fog lights as well. Any other trim do not include it. Other than that, the front end though, it's a fairly nice looking end. Moving on to the side though, The Tourings, the SIs, the Sports, they have 18-inch wheels on 235 series tires, which are fairly nice. 18-inch wheels on a Civic, that was some back in the days. Now Honda's made that a standard on those trim levels. Anything below that, you'll get an EX trim level, for example. You get 16-inch alloy wheels. If you get an LX, you have 16-inch Steelies. You have Honda hubcaps on them. They're okay. Not the prettiest looking, but it's an LX Civic. You know, maybe next gen they'll start putting standard alloys on all of them, but for now that's what we get. Talking about the back, now this touring level has a integrated lip spoiler, which I really like. Makes the vehicle stand out from the back. And you have a LED/halogen combination tail lights where you have the LED strip running whenever your headlights are on. And then you have turn signals and reverse that are all halogen. You have some fake vents in the lower portion of the grille. Overall though, it's a decent looking vehicle for sure. You have no exposed exhaust, boo. Hopefully the next Civic have maybe a dual exhaust outlook or something like that. But if you want an exhaust and you don't want an SI, you will get the Sport trim, which has basically the same exhaust finisher as the SI do. Those HDMI looking exhaust ports that a role model like Joe Rady would describe that as. Other than that though, the Civic overall has always been a pretty sharp looking car, you know, competing against its Toyota Corolla rivals, the Mazda 3, Hyundai Elantra, Kia, what's that Kia again?
Stinger?
Oh, what competes against the Civic? I forgot the name. The Kia Forte?
I think
it's the Kia Forte. Don't hate me. I actually enjoy Kia products a lot. Just brain fart. But yeah, overall, the Civic is a pretty sharp looking car, class competitive in terms of looks. Now that we've talked about looks on the outside, let's talk about the inside. Let's start off with the steering wheel since I'm looking directly at it. It is a leather wrap steering wheel, which is available on EX and higher trim levels. Anything below that would be this rubberized kind of plastic steering wheel. It's okay, you know, at least it doesn't get super sticky like the leather would if in case you have sweat on it. You have authentic stitching along the steering wheel. Great looking airbag cover. Hard plastic, obviously. You have your buttons for your media controls to the left, your cruise controls to the right, and then below to the left hand, the steering wheel right down here, you'll have your Honda sensing safety equipment. Now the tack itself, it's a fairly good looking tack. It's all digital. The coolant temperature, the fuel, they have like light up bars that go up, and then the center you have a nice color display which has your tack, your speedometers, and big numbers, and you could arrange them through different options as well in terms of what shows on the center screen. You can have the turbo boost gauge showing. You can have the range for your trip odometer. You can have your GPS showing as well. Everything, plenty of options. And this is obviously a push to start. We have the touring trim level. If you get anything else, like an LX for example, you will have a standard key. Talking about the key, do you have the key on you there, Benji? Let's show these viewers what the key looks like. Where is it? Here it is. There you go. This is the key for the Honda Civic. So it's fairly standard. You have your lock, unlock, you have a remote start option, and you have your trunk release. It's fairly decent. I can't wait to see a different design once it comes in. I'm always just excited and looking forward to those things. Moving on to the center portion. Now, what I like about the interior for this one, at least the Touring, it has these inserts that look like a metallic kind of carbon fiber-ish look to them. They look fairly nice. Everything looks and feels pretty great in this, right? Let's move on to the center infotainment system. Now, this is a 7-inch infotainment system that you'll see in every Honda vehicle out there. And you know I gotta say it. Hashtag save the knobs. And one thing I'm happy to see in this is you have a volume knob, but you have no tuning knob, and you have knobs for your temperature select. The horrible thing about the HVAC controls in the Civic that I don't like are the climate controls. You have to push a climate control button to select your AC on or off, and that's what you got to push in to select what mode your airflow is guiding. And I'm not really a big fan of that. I get it, they're trying to save space, but it is what it is. For the touring levels, you have standard navigation, which is great. They're okay, but once again, with pretty much every Civic LX and up, they have standard Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. I was going to say Honda Sensing. So really, do you need a GPS? It is a little lackluster compared to even Google Maps or Apple Maps that you would use. Aside from that, the touring levels have higher quality audio systems. They're higher watts, they're more premium as well. More speakers compared to the LX, that's expected. Bluetooth is obviously enabled. This is the previous Honda Link system. It is a little laggy. Just check that out. Really, check that out. Other than that, the infotainment itself, it's okay. It has a 3 different angle for your reverse camera, so you can have different angles: widescreen, normal, and top looking down. You also have a wireless charger in this one. You have that two level floating center console design, so you have more storage down here, and you have more plugins down here as well, like your USB and such. And the wireless charger is only on the Touring standard. You can also get that as an added accessory. Your gear selector is fairly standard. I like how it's not the push button. I do sense that starting with the next generation, you'll probably get the push button selector for your transmission like all the other Hondas are switching over to. You have a brake hold button, you have electronic parking brakes, you have an Econ mode button, and that's really about it. The center console is absolutely huge. You can fit a full-size bag in here easily. Anybody can, or gents, your iPads, ladies, your iPads, ladies, your purses, gents, your purses. I don't want to judge. Other than that, like, you open this up, you can remove the cup holders, the trays, and you have a lot of space. We went overall, talked about this interior. One thing I didn't mention is these door panels. These door panels, same aluminum trim or aluminum look trim that you'll see displayed throughout the center portion of the interior here. You have your newer switchgear for your window controls, your mirror adjustment and such. You have genuine leather stitching on the door panels and padded as well. Not the hardest, sorry, it is pretty hard. It's not the softest. Same with the center portion here. It is leather wrapped, but it is pretty stiff. Other than that, you know, the qualities overall, you have hard touch material on top of the cluster gauge. Your regular dash is filled with more soft injection molded plastic, as Redline Reviews likes to call it. Same with most of your touch points. Now, talking about space quickly before I move on to the back here, you have a fair amount of space inside. You know, I have plenty of legroom and headroom. I'm a 6'1" person, if I didn't mention that. If you don't watch any other videos, you want to know that, but now you do. You have a sunroof in this one, but yeah, plenty of headroom, decent amount of legroom. I really feel like I'm more, you know, comfier in this cabin because it's like the center console comes up and I feel like I'm more like sheltered and more cozy compared to other areas. We talked about the front. I'm going to switch to the back. So talking about the back now, you have a fair amount of legroom, but you do have issues with your headroom. I barely have an inch or two, and that is because that sloping design, it has a nice side profile. Everything really looks nice about the Civic, but you do compromise a little bit on your headroom. Now, because this is a touring level, you have heated rear seats. They're fully wrapped with leather like the fronts are. They're not perforated like the front seats, but the rear, they might be a leatherette material, they probably are, but it works. It looks just like real leather and it feels like it too, so I'm okay with that. Other than that, you have your regular fold down center armrest, and that's really about it. Not a whole lot going on. There's no connectivity, no air vents or anything like that going on. Now, moving on to the trunk. Now, talking about that trunk, you get about a little over 15 cubic feet of storage in case you want hard numbers. A decent amount of size for this space of this size of vehicle in the class as well. You have a temporary spare tire kit underneath the floor storage there. And yeah, other than that, everything else is fairly decent on this thing. Now, we've talked about everything. Let's talk about pricing really quick as well. You know, the Civic Tourings, you know, when they first came out with this generation at least, the Tourings definitely set a new standard. They were really well equipped. They were really high quality as well. But the price was it was getting up there, right? Now, the Civic Tourings in Canada now at least are just a little over $30,000. And I remember somebody saying, what, $30,000 for a Civic? You must be out of your goddamn mind. I think it definitely is worth it. One thing I would be more cautious about is that 1.5 turbo. How long is that really going to last in terms of reliability? Because people like associating Honda with reliability. And with that turbo engine, if you're pushing it around, eventually it will give out, because it's such a really small displacement as well. And it's a turbo engine, and they're going to wear out eventually, right? But I'm sure if you maintain it, it'll last you a little bit longer. But that's one thing I would maybe prefer a NA engine over. And once again, it is difficult to do that because manufacturers have regulations for better fuel economy, lower emissions, and yada yada yada. So it does, it does take a toll on them, and so they don't really know what to do. But we'll see what we get. Hopefully, we still have an NA version for next gen and see what we got. Now, I wanted to quickly stop the video and say thank you to all of the recent subscribers. We really appreciate that, the support that you guys are giving. And if you haven't already and you're watching this, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Let us know what you think about the Civic, what you want to see next. And we really do hope we can keep on making these great videos for you guys. And yeah, let us know what you think about the Civic. The last thing we have left now is the driving impressions. We're going to switch the camera over and show you what the Civic drives like. All right, guys, sorry that the window is pretty dirty there, unfortunately. Couldn't get that off with the wiper fluid. Didn't have time to wash it. But yeah, driving impressions. Now, this has no sport mode. This isn't an SI. I believe an SI will have its own review just because it's a different enough vehicle with a way better engine, in my opinion. Yeah, let us know what you think about this. We'll just drive this around for a little bit for you. Am I really going to get over that CVT sound? No, but on the bright side, you do have paddles that you can use if you want to feel like you're driving something sporty. And they even show what gear you're in when using the paddles. You're in fourth, third. It's kind of interesting, to say the least. But the Touring is made to be more comfortable than sporty. It is fun for accelerating because you have that turbo, and it is pretty comfortable. You have a fair amount of road noise that comes in to the vehicle. So maybe if you want to get undercoating or something that would prevent that or reduce it, that would be nice. But other than that, it's a fairly comfortable ride. You don't have too much body roll going on. The seats themselves are really comfortable. Everything is pretty nice. And for a car that's supposed to be reliable, good on gas, inexpensive compared to other models compared to other, I guess, segments even, I think the Civic does bring a lot in terms of luxury. At least the Civic Touring, even the non-Civics. The Civics in general, though, I think they are definitely reliable. Good on gas, good quality built. They'll last quite a while if you take care of them, and they do fairly well. And Honda's definitely had a good reputation with the Civic. It's been almost the top-selling vehicles for passenger cars in Canada for a long time. I think they had a year streak of like 15 to 16, 17, somewhere around there. It might be even more by now if they continue doing that. But with the segment heating up, it's going to be pretty crazy what the Civic can do, especially with an all-new generation coming next year. So other than that, though, we really hope you guys enjoy the review. Let us know what vehicle you want to see next. We know you guys are probably thinking here looking like this. And what car we're going to do next. Well, it's going to be a surprise. It is going to be a Honda, but we're excited to show you guys that vehicle as well. So other than that, if you really enjoyed the review, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, let us know what you think about the Civic. We can't wait to show you more vehicles. Have a great rest of your whatever you're doing, whatever time of the day it is. Crush it. We'll see you next time. Peace.